What's up, fellow football fans? I'm Bruno here with the Football Channel, and in this video, I want to talk about the all the games that we've seen today in the Champions League. It was the first day in the Champions League in the 2020-2021 season, so really excited about that. And there were some really good games. So if you see here, I have the groups pulled up, and today we had the games corresponding to groups E, F, G, and H. I'm gonna go group by group, just like I did for the preview, and kind of talk about the matches as they happen. So. On Group E, we had Sevilla, Chelsea. That was the big match for Group E. The two big teams in the group, and two very good teams. Sevilla, a little bit more of a consolidated team. They won the Europa League last season, just in August, because obviously the COVID situation, the calendar was all out of whack. But so they really just finished the last season, and they just won the Europa League, a major trophy in Europe. And they did very well in the Spanish league as well. I believe they finished fourth. Yeah, they finished fourth. They didn't even need to win the Europa League to qualify for the Champions League, but they did. And because they qualified as the Europa League winners, they were ranked as one of the eight top teams. So they finished on top one in the draw. So that's why they're topping the group. And where they drew as the number one team in the group. And then Chelsea is a great team. They finished in the top four last season. It was a difficult season for them because they had lost some players like Hazard, who went to Real Madrid. But they built a really interesting team last year with a very strong foundation of home talents. Lampard was the coach, and they had a lot of really young interesting young players developed by Chelsea's academy. Tammy Abraham was perhaps their biggest breakout talent, but they had a bunch of them, and that made the team really interesting to watch. And they actually did a very good job. They qualified for the Champions League this year. They finished in the top four. They played fairly well. They weren't at the level of a Manchester City or a Liverpool, but they were pretty good. And this year, when pretty much nobody had the money or the time or the energy at this point to really go out to the transfer market and make a lot of signings, Chelsea did. Chelsea was perhaps the only big team in Europe that actually went out and actually had a string of acquisitions that like something from a normal transfer window, really. I mean, they signed a bunch of people. They signed five major players in this transfer window, and three of them really good attacking players. Ziyech from Ajax, Havertz, one of the most promising young players from the Bundesliga, from all of European football, and Timo Werner, who was one of Europe's and the Bundesliga's most lethal number nines, who played for Leipzig. So, really, three very, very, very good attacking players, especially Havertz and Werner, but even Ziyech was a pretty big talent at Ajax. So they built a very interesting team. And I personally didn't watch the match because I was watching PSG Manchester United, which was at the same time. But I was a little bit surprised. I was expecting, considering how crazy matches have been this season so far and how crazy Chelsea's scores have been in the Premier League, conceding a lot of goals, but also scoring a lot of goals. I wasn't expecting that game to finish 0-0, and I did hear the post-match reactions, and Chelsea was kind of happy that they were finally able to get a clean sheet, and they did so against a team that is a very good team like Sevilla, very organized and who plays very good football, very good attacking football. So they were happy to get a clean sheet. I think Sevilla will also be happy because they went to Stamford Bridge, and granted, we don't have the home factor. The home factor is not as important now because of the lack of home crowds, but still going to Stamford Bridge and getting a draw for Sevilla in the first match in the group stage, I think that's a good result for them as well. So both Sevilla and Chelsea probably happy with that result. And then who's probably not happy is Hen. They probably were expecting to beat Krasnodar, the Russian side, which is, I believe, Krasnodar. It's fair to say that they're one of the inferior, one of the weaker sides in the Champions League this year. Not a team that we expect to see in the Champions League group stages, but then again, we're not used to seeing Hen either. So it wasn't a crazy result. It was 1-1. It ended 1-1. I'm sure Hen playing at home, they wanted to win the game, and they were ahead in the game, but Krasnodar was able to get back into the game. So every single team in the group, all four teams have 1 point. So really, they are as they started essentially. Now, moving on to Group F. Now, here there were some surprises. I was really expecting Zenit to beat Bruges at home. They did not. Bruges was able to win in Russia 2-1, and that is a little bit surprising. Not super surprising, but I did expect Zenit to be somewhat of a better team and get a result. This is a really bad result for Zenit. If they were hoping to qualify for the knockout stages, this is a very bad start. But it is a very even group, so anything can happen in that group, though. And then another surprise, really, and this one maybe even a bigger surprise, I was really expecting Dortmund to perform better. They did not. Lazio won convincingly. They were playing at home. They were playing at the Olimpico. But again, no home crowd, so I don't know how much of an advantage that really is. Maybe the fact that the teams still have to travel, and especially travel now with the coronavirus situation might be a little bit more taxing than it was before. Maybe that plays a factor, but in any case, Lazio, they won very decisively against Dortmund 3-1. But of course, Haaland scored, and I did see. Also, I wasn't able to see this game because it was the same time as PSG Manchester United. But Haaland scoring a beautiful game again, beautiful goal again. I mean, he is really, in my opinion, he's one of the 20 candidates to win the Golden Boy Award, the most promising player in Europe right now. And to me, it's really the only guy that could potentially win the award, I think, other than Haaland right now, is his teammate Jadon Sancho. But I think it really needs to go to Haaland because he is a singular talent, and I don't know, he might even be one of the top 10 or 15 players in the world right now, even though he's very young. But he's such a good number 9. He is deadly, and I think whenever we get to see, and I think this will probably be next year, whenever we get to see him at a major European outfit like Barcelona, Real Madrid, maybe Manchester United or Manchester City, I think he's going to do a lot of damage. I think he's going to be really big player, one of the top number 9s in the world for sure. But as of now, he's playing for Dortmund, and I was expecting better from Dortmund, but Lazio starting strong. They haven't had the best start of the season in the Serie A, so I'm sure they'll be happy to get this very important result. It is going to be a tight Group F, because I think Lazio, I would say they're better than Zenit and Bruges, but they're not so much better that they'll have an easy time. I think for them, a win over Dortmund, their toughest opponent, I think that's a great win for them. Now, in Group G, I did see Juventus game against Dynamo Kiev. Juventus won decisively 2-0. It was not a super easy game for Juventus. It was not super difficult, but it was not an easy game. Dynamo Kiev is always a competent team. They have good players. They're a decent side, and Juventus traveled to Ukraine, which is it's a big, pretty long way. So traveling to Ukraine is always taxing, especially with the coronavirus. I'm sure it's even more taxing. So kind of tough, kind of a tough match day for Juventus, but they solved it very easily. They dominated. They were just superior to Dynamo Kiev really the whole game. And Morata scored. He looked like a very sharp number 9. So, I mean, Morata looked great, and really Juventus looked great. I was very happy to see Federico Chiesa starting the game, and he did not disappoint. He had a great game, and it's going to be interesting to see if Federico Chiesa is going to be able to win a spot as a starter in that Juventus attack, which is really star-studded. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo is going to come back sooner rather than later. Dybala, and then I think it's going to be between Kulusevich and Federico Chiesa for the kind of like the third starting spot in Juventus attack, and I think that Federico Chiesa, judging from what I saw today, I think he's going to have an advantage over Kulusevski. Um, and I was expecting it to be that way, but I think he for being his first game, I think he did very very well. He looked very dangerous. He was creating a lot of attacking opportunities for Juventus. He looked very good. The other game, Barcelona Ferencvaros, in my opinion, was not quite as interesting because it was clear that Barcelona is going to have a field day with Ferencvaros. You know, Ferencvaros, they haven't played in this competition for 25 years, so they're not newcomers, but they're almost. So, and they come from the Hungarian league, which is not a highly rated league in Europe. So, of course, they were going to have some trouble in the no comp, even without the audience. And Barcelona didn't disappoint. 5-1. They just smashed Ferencvaros, as I expected they would, as I'm sure everybody expected them to do. And they just had a field day with Ferencvaros. Ansu Fati, that's another very promising young player out there, 17 years old, and his numbers are just astronomical for a player at that age. He's just looking very good. I think he's definitely going to be one of the names to follow in for many many years in European football. But you never know with a 17-year-old because sometimes they look amazing and really they never follow up. They don't evolve as you would expect him to, but I mean, Ansu Fati looks like the real deal, at least at this point. So we'll have to see. But I think he'll be a fantastic player for them. He's already a good player for them. So in Group H, now this was the main course. Now Leipzig, I'm going to start with the lesser match. Leipzig beat Istanbul, no surprise there in Germany. I mean, Istanbul is always going to have a very difficult time in Germany against Leipzig. Leipzig, as you know, they had a very strong season last season. They finished in the top four in the Bundesliga. They finished in the top four in Europe. They reached the semifinals of the Champions League, losing very narrowly in the semifinal against PSG. So it was really a pretty predictable game. I think everybody expected Leipzig to win. Perhaps what we didn't expect, Angelino scored two goals. A defender, kind of a wing back, scoring two goals like a number nine. That's a little bit out of the ordinary, but I mean it was Leipzig was supposed to win that game, especially in a group like Group H, the group of death, really, with PSG, Manchester United. It's going to be a three horse race there with PSG and Manchester United as favorites, I think, to go through to the knockout stages. But Leipzig can really be the dark horse there and come up with the qualify for the knockout stages and leave PSG or Manchester United behind. And they need to win their matches against Istanbul in order to be able to do that, and they did. The PSG Manchester United game, that was the big game. That was the game that I was really excited about, that I really wanted to watch, and it was actually a pretty good game. Um, things again, Manchester United conceded once again an own goal, which I'm sure they'll be disappointed. Marcus Rashford, but they were able to win 2-1. And in fact, Rashford scored the second goal again. Bruno Fernandes with a penalty kick, he was able to score, even though he needed two tries. Keylor Navas was able to stop the penalty at first, but then they had to repeat it because Keylor Navas was in an irregular position and Bruno Fernandes was able to score. But Manchester United really playing better than PSG, really. They only conceded because of the known goal. So PSG didn't really have a whole lot of chances. Manchester United looked a lot better, honestly. And I'm sure Manchester. This is very good news for Manchester United fans after that horrible display against Tottenham. I think maybe that was more of an odd situation, though. Looking at the last two matches, they were very good against Newcastle. They struggled a little bit at first, but they were the better team, and they were able to persevere and eventually win 4-1. And against PSG, it was not exactly the same, but again, they were consistently the best team on the pitch. I thought they were consistently better than PSG. They looked very good. They looked dangerous. Alex Telles, by the way, he got his first start. Luke Shaw started as left back, but Alex Telles started as a left winger. That was a little bit surprising. I was expecting to see Alex Telles as a left back, and I think we probably will see him as a left back more often than not. But today he made his debut as a left winger, and he played pretty well. He's a very talented player, both as a left back, wing back, and as a left winger. But really, I mean, Manchester United played very well, and Marcus Rashford, in spite of his own goal, he made up for it. He had a very good game. He scored the winning goal. Bruno Fernandes again, their best man, arguably on the pitch. He's just a fantastic talent, and I really like him because like me, from Portugal. His name is Bruno, and also he was a Sporting Lisbon player, which is the club I support. So I really like this player, and he's a fantastic player. I think Manchester United paid quite a bit of money for him, but it's completely worth it. He's one of the most impactful, the most really the really one of the few players that can really change matches, and he has completely changed Manchester United's team going forward. I mean, whenever he plays, they look a lot better, and he's been a very impactful signing for them. Really, their best signing in a long, long time. In my opinion, Manchester United's best signing since Ferguson left. So great signing for Manchester United, and again, Fernandes kind of leading the team, leading Manchester United's attack, and they look very good. They won, and they won convincingly, I would say. And this is a big win for them. Again, going to Paris, playing a team that is a star-studded team. They were playing with Di Maria, Neymar, and Mbappe up front, so really they're big players, they're big names. And still, I mean, Manchester United found a way to win, and they look good doing it. So it is a fantastic start of their Champions League campaign for Manchester United after starting certainly not in a fantastic way in the Premier League. So great news for Manchester United. So this is it. This is my review of today's matches, and I'm excited to see some great matches tomorrow again. Thank you, and I hope if you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys soon.